Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Golden Bachelorette Jonathan Roan the winner? Is Jonathan Roan the winner of the Golden Bachelorette? He has become a clear favorite with a deep story, and Joan Vassos has a strong connection with him as well. Yet, will he make it to the end or end up being sent home and left heartbroken? Keep reading for more details. Golden Bachelorette Jonathan Roan the winner? Jonathan Roan is not unlike his fellow bachelors, as he has a heart-wrenching story. His wife allegedly told him one morning that she wanted a divorce. This came out of nowhere, and it shattered his world. He has been left to be a single father, but it has not been easy to raise his kids and open his heart. This is a similar story to other men on the show who have lost women they love or are scared to love again. Joan Vassos broke down on the Wednesday, October 2nd episode of The Golden Bachelorette. She was on a solo date with Jonathan when she felt her late husband's presence. Hawks were flying above, and that immediately triggered memories and signs. Eventually, Joan opened up to all of the remaining men about how she was feeling. She may never get over her late husband, and that was okay with them, as they also had lingering feelings about their partners. As for Jonathan, fans love him a lot, so it would make sense if he were to be the last one standing. Not gonna lie, I have a high-key crush on Jonathan. He's so kind and super handsome. Personally, I would date him in a second. The way Jonathan opened up to Joan was so refreshing and so poignant. You could tell Joan took notice of it in a big way. Unfortunately, Jonathan Roan is not the one who gets the final rose. According to Reality Steve, Joan's final four are Guy Gansert, Chalk Chappell, Pascal Ebgei, and Jordan Heller. That means, somewhere along the way, the 61-year-old was eliminated. The final rose. In the end, Joan Vassos supposedly chose Chalk Chappell, with Pascal self-eliminating. However, it is unknown when that happened. Again, a lot of these vital details will have to wait for a little more time to pass. Yet, Jonathan Roan's elimination could happen at any time, as soon as next week. Joan does seem to really like him, so he may stick around for some time, which would be nice. In a season filled with emotions, stunning revelations, and heartwarming moments, The Golden Bachelorette has become more than just a reality TV show. It's a cultural phenomenon. But as the finale approaches, all eyes are on one man, Jonathan Roan. Could he really be the one to win the heart of the Golden Bachelorette? Let's dive into the heart of the competition, the journey of Jonathan Roan, and what makes him such a compelling contender for the final rose. The Bachelorette herself, a true golden gem. Before we can talk about Jonathan's rise to the top, it's important to remember who the Golden Bachelorette is. Unlike younger versions of the show, this isn't about wild adventures or flashy getaways. This time, it's about love seasoned by life's experiences. The Golden Bachelorette is a woman who has lived, learned, and is looking for a deeper connection. She's lived through love, heartbreak, joy, and sorrow, and is now looking for someone who matches her maturity, wisdom, and passion. This season, the Bachelorette is the radiant and accomplished Victoria, a woman in her mid-60s with a vivacious spirit and a heart full of warmth. Victoria is known for her generosity, her love of life, and her strong values. A retired university professor with a passion for the arts, she's looking for a man who understands the balance between adventure and stability, someone who will be her partner in this next chapter of life. Enter Jonathan Roan, the underdog with charm. Jonathan Roan wasn't always a frontrunner. In fact, when the season first started, there wasn't much attention on him. He's a retired architect, 68 years old, with a love for woodworking and spending quiet afternoons in his garden. A widower, Jonathan came into the competition with a quiet grace that made him easy to overlook. His first few one-on-one conversations with Victoria were pleasant, but not necessarily electric. Jonathan is a man of few words, and in a show often dominated by grand gestures and over-the-top personalities, he seemed too quiet almost too reserved. But as the season went on, something magical began to happen. The slow burn of romance. Where many contestants were quick to sweep Victoria off her feet with extravagant dates, Jonathan chose a different path. He didn't rush, and he didn't try to be someone he wasn't. Instead, he focused on getting to know her in the most genuine way possible. Their conversations were deep and meaningful, often centered on shared values, family, and their experiences of loss and renewal. One of the defining moments for Jonathan came during the third episode, when the group traveled to a quaint vineyard for a weekend getaway. While the other men were competing in a cook-off to impress Victoria, Jonathan invited her for a quiet walk among the vines. They talked about their late spouses and the joy and sorrow that comes with losing someone you deeply love. This wasn't just small talk. It was a raw, vulnerable exchange that left both Jonathan and Victoria in tears. It was at that moment that Victoria saw a depth in Jonathan that no other man had shown her. A steady, quiet confidence. Throughout the season, Jonathan's approach to romance has been marked by patience. He hasn't been the loudest in the room, but he's been the most consistent. His steady confidence comes from a lifetime of experiences. He doesn't feel the need to prove himself through flashy gestures. Instead, he's shown Victoria that he's in this for the long haul. His dates have been meaningful and thoughtful. One standout was when he planned a day dedicated to the simple pleasures in life. They spent the afternoon in a local park, had a picnic, and read poetry under an oak tree. It wasn't extravagant, but it was romantic in a way that spoke to the kind of love that grows slowly and steadily. The turning point, the hometown date. If there was any doubt about Jonathan's sincerity, it was erased during the hometown date. Victoria visited his cozy home, filled with handmade furniture and the warm, lived-in feeling that comes from years of love and care. Jonathan's adult children were welcoming and clearly adored their father. But it was the moment when Jonathan showed Victoria the small woodworking shop where he crafts furniture that truly sealed the deal. He handed her a hand-carved jewelry box he'd been working on for weeks. "This is for you," he said simply. "A place for your most precious things." The gesture wasn't just romantic, it was symbolic. In Jonathan's quiet way, he was telling Victoria that he wanted to be the one to protect and cherish her heart. It was clear that this was more than just a competition for him. He was genuinely in love with her. The competition, why Jonathan stands out. Of course, Jonathan isn't the only contender in the race for Victoria's heart. There are a few others who have made strong impressions, including George, the charismatic former lawyer, and Stephen, a charming entrepreneur with a knack for making Victoria laugh. But while these men have undeniable appeal, there's something about Jonathan's quiet confidence that sets him apart. Where George can come off as a bit too polished and Stephen sometimes seems more focused on fun than long-term commitment, Jonathan strikes the perfect balance. He's shown that he's ready for a serious, committed relationship, but he also knows how to make Victoria feel special in the most meaningful ways. The final rose, will Jonathan win? As the final episode looms, fans are eagerly speculating about who will win Victoria's heart. The competition is fierce, but if there's one thing this season has shown, it's that love isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about the quiet moments, the shared experiences, and the steady, unwavering belief that you found someone you can spend the rest of your life with. Jonathan Roan may not have started as the frontrunner, but his journey has been one of growth, sincerity, and quiet romance. As the finale approaches, it's hard to imagine anyone else standing beside Victoria, ready to start the next chapter of life with her. Could Jonathan Roan be the one to win the final rose? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, he's already won the hearts of viewers everywhere.